A whole host of independents, a few new debuts, and the Batman Who Laughs. Let's check out this week's preview picks. What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is Preview Picks, the show where I go over the comic books that are coming out on Wednesday, give you an idea what they're all about, and whether there's something you need to talk to your comic book shop about or not. Make sure you subscribe to get more of these every single Monday. The first thing that I want to talk about is the independent comics, and these are all coming from Image. So, Criminal #1 is getting a second printing. So this is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips from Kill or Be Killed, and Criminal is coming back to its roots, and it's going to tell that same gritty kind of crime-fighting story that we got in Kill or Be Killed. And then we're going to get Criminal #2 from that same team because, well, Criminal #1's going on a second printing, so they've got to make a second issue. So that is one that I really want you guys to check out. It's a really good legacy group. These guys have produced really great books, and I think Criminal is going to be more of the same. Also at Image, we get Oblivion Song #12 from Robert Kirkman, which is going to continue the story of a displaced city that has kind of been sucked into this parallel dimension, and this man that is going in hunting for his brother, and eventually he found him, and oh god, what happened next? That's one of the most interesting books that I've seen coming out of Image, but also it's tied with Gideon Falls, which gets issue #11 this week. And Gideon Falls from Jeff Lemire has been telling the story of the Black Barn and was widely regarded as one of the better comics of 2018. The continuation of this story just makes me more excited, and I've picked up every single issue, so it's one that I can't help but recommend. And while those series are continuing on, the Magic Order #6 is going to be the finale for Olivier Coipel's and Mark Millar's Netflix-based TV kind of property thing that they were developing. But the Magic Order continues to tell this story of magic that takes place inside our common everyday world and the transition of power between two famous families or factions of individual magicians. So I can't wait to see what the conclusion of this story really looks like, and overall, Coipel's art has been phenomenal. To finish things off with independent titles, we've got Hit Girl #1 from Kevin Smith, and that is going to be a very interesting storyline. Hit Girl's an interesting character. Kevin Smith has a lot of experience writing in comic books, but mostly we know him from film, and I can't wait to see what kind of, voice he lends to this character compared to some of the things that he's done with characters in the past. Now we can bounce over to DC, where we get Supergirl #27, and Supergirl is going to be continuing her cosmic adventures written by Mark Andreyko, and she's going to be teaming up with the Omega Men, and that was one of my favorite books from Tom King, and it was a really interesting story about Kyle Rayner, so I can't wait to see what Andreyko does with these characters that are pulled in from a familiar world. I haven't been following along with Supergirl, but some of you have said that it's worth the read, so it's definitely something I'm going to be picking up. Also, we're going to be getting Wonder Woman #64, which is going to be dealing with a few different things for Diana, but the thing that really caught my eye, which I'm sure catches a lot of people's eye, is this Art Germ variant cover, which is similar to the Sean Gordon Murphy one that was showcased last week, and if I rotate this thing, it's going to show you this kind of landscape, almost cinematography kind of cover style, and it's not necessarily something you see every day, and Art Germ really gets a lot of attention when he does his variants, so worst case scenario, the eye candy's going to pull you in, but hopefully the story keeps you around. Making our way over to Marvel, we get Punisher #8 from Matthew Rosenberg, which is continuing the story of Frank Castle. I have to admit, it's a book that I haven't really been keeping up on, so hit me up in the comments down below and let me know if you've been reading it and whether it's something that I should turn my attention to. Also, we're going to get Superman #8, as we're talking about 8th issues, and I'm not going to read it. I see the cover, and I see John Kent getting all this crazy stuff going on, and Brian Michael Bendis is doing whatever Brian Michael Bendis is doing. Hey, it's fine. People can like what they want to like, but to me, I'm off the Bendis books. It's just not my style. Then, out of the pages of Spider-Geddon, we get Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider, which is kind of rebooting the series that was started by Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez with Rico on colors, and that was overall a really great experience for the character, and it created, well, one of the best cosplay icons of the last 5, 10, 15 fucking years, whatever it is. But Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider is going to be continuing on the storyline of Gwen Stacy, and overall, hey man, if you're a fan of Spider-Gwen, go for it. It's a really fun story. Hopefully another fun story coming from Kelly Thompson is Captain Marvel. So we get issue #2 this week, which is going to be continuing this kind of different style of Captain Marvel, moving closer to parallels with the actual movie character from Brie Larson. I'm not necessarily sure what it's going to be about. I didn't read issue #1, but if it's something that really has an appeal to me, I'll check it out and see what's going on. I'm never one to kind of cast something aside simply because it's associated with an upcoming movie. Then there's Justice League Dark #8, and I'm kind of curious to see exactly what's happening after this event with Dr. Fate. But the real key is, how is this going to incorporate into the other events of Justice League? Justice League Dark, Justice League Odyssey, and Justice League were really launched as a trio, a triumvirate of triumphant triple titles. I can't make that work that long. But Justice League Dark is supposed to be a key component to this entire Justice League storyline, so I can't wait to see what it really brings to the table as far as Perpetua and anything else that's going on inside the DC universe. But making more magic, back at Marvel, we've got Thor number 10, which is going to be preparing for the War of the Realms. We get a little bit more Odin, we get a little bit more Thor, Odin's son. We get a little bit more lead up. Jason Aaron has been planting the seeds for War of the Realms for the last 3, 4, 5 years, and we're so close. So Thor and Avengers and a few other books from Jason Aaron, as well as a few co-contributors, they're going to be things to watch if you really want to know everything that's going to be going on inside War of the Realms this summer. And then the other DC is Detective Comics, and Detective Comics 998, of course, we're leading into that 1000, that millennium milestone that they're really looking for, and this is continuing Peter J. Tomasi's run on the character, and I just love this cover. Man, this cover here, it's just, the demon and all that kind of stuff and the Hellbat armor, it just looks fantastic. So Tomasi's been doing a really good job getting into Detective Comics, and I can't wait to see where it continues on after we get past this whole 1000th issue nonsense. It doesn't really matter much. But overall, Detective Comics, really solid Batman read, especially if you're not necessarily on board with Tom King's series. While I am, some people aren't, and this is a great place to find your Batman. Next, we'll talk about Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man number 15, which is going to be coming out this week and is going to be continuing with artist Chris Bachalo. He corrected me on Twitter that I said his name wrong. Chris Bachalo is going to be continuing as the artist for this issue. I know that some people have some issues with that, but overall, I still think that Bachalo is one of the best artists that you could possibly put into this book, not necessarily because of any kind of realistic style. I think that he just has a really good stylized version of the characters, and I like the way that he presents their emotions and the way that they fit into the scenes. And with the combination of Nick Spencer's really solid scripts, I think the overall execution of the issues is pretty great, especially if 14 is any kind of indicator. I can't wait to see how things move forward with this, and overall as a Spider-Man fan, I couldn't be happier. I know that some people aren't necessarily going to be picking it up, but I'd say you're missing out on something. It's really a good look at Spider-Man as a character. Next, we're going to be getting part 2 of The Price of Justice, which is going to be continuing on in Flash number 64, as we got part number 1 in Batman number 64. And with the reveal that Gotham Girl has been causing all this chaos around the DC universe in an effort to save her brother, Gotham, who has been dead since like issue 5 of Batman, The Price is going to be continuing down this road, and hopefully it's going to tie into Heroes in Crisis in a little bit more substantial kind of way, instead of just being a kind of toss-away Gotham Girl villain kind of story. Hopefully. Also, I want to talk about a trade paperback that's coming out. Mr. Miracle, which was widely regarded as one of the best series of the last year, a little bit more than a year, is going to be coming out in a hardcover, fully collected, all 12 issues concoction. This trade paperback or hardcover, however you decide to pick it up, is one of the stories that I think that a lot of people should read, especially if they think that comics is just a medium for art and funny stuff. I think that Mr. Miracle's a really strong story to be told. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, there's a link in the description, so make sure that you click on over that if you really want to pick up Mr. Miracle and trade. Now to the last of the ongoing series, we have Batman Who Laughs number 3, Scott Snyder, art by Jock. What can you say other than yes? Yes, please. Overall, Jock is one of my favorite artists, especially when it comes to Batman, and I think Scott Snyder's got a really good grasp, and telling this origin and evolution story of Batman Who Laughs is a really good choice of his, especially now that he's writing Justice League, which is a completely different kind of experience out there on the way left side of the field. So Batman Who Laughs feels like it's kind of right in his alley, and telling a closed, concise storyline is something that I really hope that Scott Snyder can excel at, and so far, I have been pleasantly surprised. Also, we're going to get brand new number 1s, so Age of X-Men Next Gen number 1. These long-ass titles are really getting me. This is going to be another one of those debut 7 miniseries that is going to be coming out for X-Men, while Matthew Rosenberg's telling a story about Cyclops and Wolverine going around the world trying to protect and gather mutants to create this new team of X-Men to go and find the old team of X-Men. So with Next Gen, we're going to get that younger team that we actually saw a whole heck of a lot of inside Uncanny X-Men 1 through 10. It's one of those books where if you want to experience everything about Age of X-Men, you've got to pick it up, but otherwise, you might be able to pass this one over. Back at DC, the new number 1 is Wonder Twins number 1, which is going to be kind of a continuation of this debut of different Wonder Comics series. And Wonder Comics as a whole is really designed to bring back the wonder of being a child. And I mean, Wonder Twins is kind of a cool concept. I don't necessarily see its place, but Mark Russell did a really good job on the Red Sonja #1 issue, and then of course Stephen Byrne has got a lot of kind of fame and really interesting perspectives when it comes to different art styles. He did a really great animation for Firefly that almost got everybody rekindled into an animated series, and he did a few issues of Green Arrow, and overall I find that his art style, while kind of modern and cartoonish, is still really pleasant to look at. So worst case scenario, it's going to be a really good looking book with a really solid writer. I just wonder how the characters can carry this comic composition. Last but not least, we get Savage Sword of Conan #1, which is going to be from Jerry Dugan and continuing the Conanification of the Marvel Comics universe. While not every book is going to go Conan, we do have Jason Aaron's run with Mahmoud Asrar, which has just hit issue #3, and this is just another introduction into the Conan series, and I think there's going to be at least 1 or 2 more that are going to be coming along with it. Again, while I'm not really a huge fan of Conan, I haven't really had a chance to read them all. The interesting thing about this is that Marvel is taking a lot of historic titles as well as historic properties that they used to write for and bringing them back in a big way. So I'm really excited to see them pay a little bit more homage to their legacy and try to modernize them so that that way new comic readers can get the same kind of experience that I had when I was a kid, either going into these backlogs or getting to see various team-ups or different characters that I don't necessarily see when I look at superheroes. I hope that it really works out for them, but I want to know what you guys think, so hit me up in the comments down below and we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.